Lost Art of Fishing Stories, written by Andrew Cox. Get your copy today. Go to Amazon and search The Lost Art of Fishing Stories. The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Preserving history, one veteran story at a time. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project, Veterans Voices. My name is Andrew Cox, as you probably already know, but hey, if you're enjoying these podcasts, and let's make sure you go and check out the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There are a couple ways you can help support us. You can go to that website, click on the one-time donation link. You can click on the Become a Patron link. That's with a monthly donation. Heck, you can go in and just purchase some cool merchandise, or you can advertise right here on the podcast. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, go check them out. Even if you do know something about them, go back and check them out again. I'm telling you, great organization. You can always find them at tillvalhallaproject.com. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, here we are, man. I'm excited. We got a fireside chat going on tonight. We got our special guest, but before we get to him, let's talk to Mike. Mike, how you been doing out there in Georgia?
I'm doing good. Had a little bit of rain last week and got cold again, but other than that, it's been the last couple of days. It's been chilly in the morning, but it's like 60 degrees in the afternoon. So, as I was telling you and Clay about my wife and our Christmas tree fiasco of 2025, trying to get a damn tree decorated, and it tried to fall over on us, and spent like 2 hours trying to get it situated. And finally adapted, overcame, and went and got a big eyelet and screwed it in the freaking wall behind the tree, and got some 550 cord and wrapped it around the tree and cinched it back so it ain't going nowhere now.
That's the way to do it right there. You got to use the 550 cord, baby.
If anybody's got something to say about it, then they can come over and try to figure it out. It's still a little wonky standing there looking at it. And I was laughing last night, even this morning. I was like, man, that son of a gun is still leaking. She goes, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. And I was like, okay. And I walked around the front side. I was like, man.
Well, you know, that gives it a little.
Trees they're not supposed to be perfect.
That's right. It gives it character.
They're not supposed to be perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
I just promise anybody walks in my house and says, you know, your tree's leaning. I'm like, you son of a.
Going to knock them out. I love it. All right. Well, we got our special guest here, man, Clay Williams, Army veteran. But how you been doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you, AJ and Mike.
Absolutely. I'm going in and out, so I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
That's good. That's a good sign. Well, yeah, I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited to talk about your nonprofit, man. It should be good. A Hero's Promise. I'm looking forward to hearing all about that. So, you know, I don't know about Mike, but I'm looking forward to it. But before we get into that, if you don't mind, just kind of run through like where you grew up, and then talk a little bit about your service, and then how you got into the nonprofit side.
Yeah. So I grew up in Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. I was raised military brat from both my parents were Army, come from a long lineage of soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines. And I was born at the Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth. It's now, I believe, a women's prison, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, so so I spent a majority of my elementary and middle school years there in Texas, and then my dad had a lot of medical issues. His Agent Orange, heart defects from Agent Orange, and all sorts of different things. And so, my high school years were spent in Northern California, Southern Oregon, and then in 2004 graduated and went into the service completely. My mom was big on college, and because my dad's 100%, I was getting college, and I was going to college at the age of 16, 17, and 18. And so I was working towards my associates at that time. And, just a multitude of things just came together, and it was like, I'm ready to go. And so 3 weeks after graduation, I took off to Fort Benning, Georgia, home of the infantry.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. Just up the road from me.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. And now tell us about like when you joined and everything, that's where you did your boot camp was down in Georgia?
Correct.
Okay. I got you.
Basic training.
What's that?
Basic training. I think Marines call it boot camp. We call it basic training.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Basic training. Yeah. I got to get them all correct. I don't know. I always screw it up. So I just fall back to what I know. So
that's right. It's the same thing. Yeah. That's where I went to infantry school with the 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry, and learned what being broke down really means and built back up. It was a tough, hard, awesome experience. Yeah.
But you wouldn't trade it for anything, right?
No, I wouldn't. I'd do it all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And now, talk to me about kind of your career. You're like, where did you go? What did you do? What was the fun that was had?
Yeah, so infantry. So it was all fun until it wasn't, right? So after Fort Benning, I went to Fort Lewis, now JBLM, and I was stationed there. My career. My career was short but impactful. I did 6 years, a little over 6 years, and when I got to my unit, I was there for about a year, and I was in a pretty severe striker vehicle accident in the Yakima Training Center, and I got flown out and spent a little over 3 months in the Madigan Army Medical Center. I'd broken my back, my L1 through L4, and some herniated discs and concussion, and that was a different experience at 19. And then one of the reasons I got my family is long lineage in the military, but after 9/11 happened in my freshman year. It really impacted me, stuck with me. And so that was a big motivation for me. So then sitting in a bed at 19 thinking, is it over? That was tough. And I spent 9 months recuperating and was given the opportunity to either deploy with my unit in 06 or stay on Rear D. And so after some waivers, I was able to get on the deployment roster, and we deployed to Iraq in 06, 07. QRF for Baghdad, replaced 82nd Airborne, First Striker Brigade. So it was a new thing. It was big, powerful, and fast, right? So it was unexpected on their end, I think. Over the years, with Tropic Lightning and a few others that were there, we were there in 03, 04, and then Tropic Lightning replaced us 05, 06, and we went back 06, 07.
Gotcha.
We were the quick response force, the 1st Battalion, 23rd Infantry Regiment, the Tomahawks. Big fan of my unit. Only unit I know. Only unit I was in, and had some of the greatest leadership, some of the best people. Pretty amazing.
Awesome.
We had a tough tour.
Yeah.
In the 06-07 deployment, we were in Solder City for Christmas that year. Haifa Street.
Oh, you went on
Haifa
mute.
Street. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
We were at the Battle of Haifa Street in January of 07. That was a very difficult month. The whole deployment was difficult, but that month, December in Solder City was tough. Baghdad alone was tough, and then back on Haifa Street in Baghdad in January was tough. And then as things started slowing up, the second Battle of Bakiba began, and so we got extended and sent down to Bakiba from Baghdad. The entire 3rd Brigade went down there for this.
Wow.
And spent the remaining deployment there. I had 3 IEDs hit my vehicle when I was in Iraq. And then we had a tough tour. It was a tough tour, and got home in September of 07 and got my EIB in 08. And then in 2009, I was doing a pre-ranger course, and I fell from the high wire about 21 feet and broke back in the same areas, but added L5 vertebrae in there. And that was the end of my career there at 24 years old. And
holy cow.
Yeah.
Man, that's wild. So you broke your back once, broke it again. Oh, man. Now, how was the recovery on the second time?
The second one was brutal and terrible because, to be honest, and I mean, I understand the Army's intent, but it sucked. So they pushed me out as soon as possible, right? So that happened around end of August 2009. I was out of the Army by January 26, 2010. So the healing time compared to the first time where there was a lot of support. At 19, easier to come back from things as well. First injury, not a big deal. But you had the support, right? So I got pushed from the Army into the VA system, and the support wasn't there. And I gained up to 426 pounds, was in a wheelchair, was going down a very slippery slope, and ended up getting put into the hospital in 2013. I had 4 ruptured ulcers, went into the OR, had emergency surgery, they gave me red dye as they were, looking to see where they were going to operate, went in anaphylactic shock, and died on the table for 15 seconds. Broke 6 ribs, CPR, bringing me back, and spent a total of 11 months in the Seattle VA, Puget Sound medical system that year, 2013. It was kind of the breaking point for my 2 oldest kids, mom and us. It was just tough time for both of us, but definitely tough time for her, having to deal with, all of my medical issues, all my issues on top of 2 young kids. And so we ended up divorcing after that. When I got home, I had a come to Jesus moment when I was in that hospital. And, I grew up Baptist, I grew up a Christian, but I think I was just faking the funk. And when I truly surrendered, my life changed. And it was hard at first. It was extremely difficult. And so when I got out in late 2013, out of the hospital, started making effective change in my life, turned my life over to the Lord, and started with just getting up and moving, which was difficult at 426 pounds. On top of I didn't do the physical therapy right because I had gained so much weight, and I had, I was just a blob at that point. There is no, healing at that point. Now you have scar tissue. Now you have all of these different issues that on top of the weight that create barriers for you, right?
Right.
So water aerobics and bicycling became huge in my life, and I started to gain my life back. And during that transition, I was having a real hard time surrendering to the Lord, and doing my own thing, also having my pity party, and having my my depressional moments, just the things that go through. And in 2015, I tried to commit suicide, and my pistol misfired, and so that was probably the major turning point in my life. And I went and sought mental help. Went through some things back up at Seattle, and
Right. And that was through the VA.
Yeah,
that was with the,
I came out of that a lot stronger, and truly surrendered my life and said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't want to do whatever I'm doing anymore. I'm beat, I'm broken, I'm tired,
Yeah.
And so me and my best friend, who's no longer with us, would spend late mornings together just talking about, purpose, drive, rededication, what do we do now that we're out? What do we, all of those thoughts that go through your head. That was the greatest I was ever going to be. That was,
right.
Living in the past instead of living in the future. So we were both 100% disabled, and, we're financially taken care of, but both physically, mentally, and spiritually, we were a wreck. Really hanging on each day. And so iron sharpens iron. And so we would have our time together with the Lord. And then we decided, what is it that's gonna help us heal and make an impact. And so we just started scribbling down one night, and out of it came A Hero's Promise. And the reason for the name is, we believe anybody can be a hero. It's not just military members. It's, anybody can be a hero, and it depends on how you want to be known as that hero, right? Because you have the warrior heroes, you have the financial heroes, you have the volunteer heroes, you have many classes of heroes, and anybody can be a hero in someone's life.
Very true. Yeah.
It takes effort, it takes dedication, it takes relationship, it takes love and kindness. And so that's kind of how it started. And I became a pastor during that time as well. Or not a pastor, a minister, through Crazy Faith Ministries, Chief Ben Charles out of Washington State. And that kind of started, with feeding homeless, washing homeless feet, just breaking down to the complete servitude, right? Of service, but in the Lord's name. And that just kind of grew. We got 3 different veterans off the street, 2 of which are up and doing well. They got off drugs. 1 got off alcohol. One of our older guys ended up getting off alcohol, getting back in touch with his family, getting to see his grandkids, and he ended up dying from liver failure. But, he was able to come back from all of the mistakes. He was able to come back from that in such a positive, heroic way. And we actually have a veterans closet in Tenino, Washington, named after him, the Robert Williams veteran closet. And you can get hygiene products, camping gear, any of the things you need out of there. And in 2018, I ended up meeting this retired major, and we met at the VA. And we actually met in 2015 at the VA. We met up again on the streets of Olympia in 2018, and doing legislative affairs, doing different things. We were kind of in the same circle, and we ended up hitting it off. And he was in the first Battle of Bakuba. I was in the second Battle of Bakuba. Kind of went on from there. Both combat related injury vets, and it. We just started bouncing things off, and he started helping out and doing so much for A Hero's Promise that in 2018 we ended up electing him as the executive director of the nonprofit. And he had a different outlook. For me and Jay back here, it was a way, it was a healing for us. It was a selfish healing, to be honest. Looking back at it now, it was healing for me as much as it was service for others. But
right.
Looking back at it, I feel selfish sometimes, because what I thought I was doing for others, I was actually doing for myself and my soul and my healing. And yeah, so in 2019, we lost our brother Jay. And the suicide epidemic has been huge in the Tomahawk Battalion. We've lost so many, whether it's because of drugs, financial issues, alcohol, and we have buried more homes surviving the peace than we did in combat. And again, we had a tough tour where we lost many, and that was a whole nother aspect that shocked me and hurt me in a whole different way. And then Alan, our executive director, Alan Acosta, same scenario. He's got brothers that ended up committing suicide. And so we ended up starting a program out of that called the Warrior Adventure Outdoor Program. And it provides emotional support, stress outlet for veteran and survivor fellowship. So we would bring a guy from JBLM active duty, a veteran, and usually a Gold Star kiddo or a Gold Star father or Gold Star spouse. And it was a unique situation to have all three of them together, and they're fishing and they're having a good time and they're healing and they're talking about their loved ones. They're talking about, their time on active duty. A active duty military member is getting to see what it looks like on the veteran side, giving out that knowledge of, make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's type thing. And then being there for that Gold Star member. It turned out to be such great healing therapy that we incorporated canoe trips and trail walks. We have a Native American aspect to A Hero's Promise. We have Native American board members, Chief Ben Charles being one of them, where, singing, medicine walks, other things have been proven to be extremely beneficial in the healing process and the healing journey, specifically from combat trauma. And so it has just continued to grow over the last decade into this extremely impactful organization. But it is relationship based. So, we don't expect anybody to come to us. We go looking for that need. We find that need. We figure out a way to help in that process. One of them was with some of our older generation, weren't able to do the Warrior Adventure Outdoor Program. So we teamed up with the National Alliance for Mental Illness, NAMI, and created the first veteran-to-veteran peer support group in Washington State out of Thurston County, which is now a nationwide program through National Alliance for Mental Illness. And that created a whole different type. You can go to support groups at the VA, and I have nothing. I got my bad experiences with the VA for sure, but at the end of the day, I've been blessed to be at VAs that there were people that cared, that loved, that gave their time and effort to truly be an impact and be that hero, right, in somebody's life. And so, of course, combat vets. So we have a Liberty Disaster Relief Service program. We've helped out with the Oso mudslides, with different floodings in the Nisqually Valley and other things, the fires in Western Washington. We're in Washington, Idaho, and Northern Oregon at this point. I moved out here to Waynesville, right outside of Fort Leonard Wood, recently. And so starting the chapter out here in a different aspect, different manner. It's different going from a FORSCOM post to a TRADOC post, going from, combat readiness to training, right? It's a different atmosphere, different needs, still needs, but just different. How to how to attack those needs differently out here.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And you know, again, suicides are a huge issue, as we all know, in the veteran community, amongst active duty as well. I know, for example, at the Force Command, the trade-off post, you know, sometimes people don't get to go home for Christmas. Sometimes people don't get to go home for Thanksgiving. And we all need that support group. And if your day-to-day support group is gone and now you're stuck there, now you get into your mind, you get into that hole. And once you go down that rabbit hole, it's intense and it's incredibly difficult to get out of it. And for me, I know getting out of it, part of it was the VA and their pills. Getting off all pills was, it seemed, you know, crazy to them, but surrendering everything to God and just giving it over to Him. And so in 2019, I stopped using any assisted devices to walk. So I'm going on 6 years of walking without any assisted devices. And I give all credit to the Lord, and then the purpose of A Hero's Promise and the drive and the dedication that I have in that to continue to make those impacts in other people's lives that continue to help me heal, to continue to help me grow, and continue to persevere. So, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, what a great organization, in my humble opinion. I mean, to be able to, like you were saying, be able to bring the older veterans that weren't able to go out and do stuff in, and still be able to be a part of the younger veteran community. That was pretty awesome. I mean, that's, to me, very important.
It is. Well, and you see it as the need too, right? We have a Purple Star senior veteran program as well, and it's a support program. And you know what I've noticed is we're very good at taking care of children, especially veterans, right? We're there, we're present, we're active. The finance is there, but what we've really noticed as well is at the end of life, right? Our seniors. We've done over 300 funerals and memorials, and a lot of those have been for seniors that didn't have anybody. The Purple Star Veteran Program just started with me, Alan, and Jay, and my parents, and a few others, just going and visiting local life care centers. And you know, they're at their deathbed anyways, and so bringing children, bringing gifts, spending time just listening to them, giving them the time to talk. It's a healing journey for them on their way out, you know, and it's a tough thing to deal with. It definitely, you know, if you allow it, if you don't give it to the Lord, it'll weigh heavy on you, you know. And so you give it to the Lord, and you do what you can by being there for them, and that has been recently, that has been one of the most impactful programs for me. Originally, the Warrior Adventure Outdoor Program was one of the biggest healings for me, with Gold Star children, with Gold Star fathers and mothers, including ones of those that I served with. And being a part of other organizations, Veteran Outdoors, For the Fallen, just different other organizations. I'm a Wounded Warrior alumni. Me and Alan both are. So being a part of those organizations, interacting, finding out their programs and where we can fit our veterans and the relationships that we built with these people into these programs that we don't offer, but are excellent programs, you know, the American Legion, the VFW, DAV. So, you know, another aspect of us is, you know, a networker where we build these relationships, whether it's on the streets, whether it's in homeless camps, whether it's in life care centers, whether it's in senior homes, whether it's on post in the active duty arena, in these other veteran organizations, just providing that education, that resource, that knowledge, and that connect, bringing everything together, you know. All of these organizations are great organizations that provide very valuable things to our community and to our veteran community specifically. But a lot of times you'll see a lot of them overlap each other. And so instead of overlapping, finding that unity and bringing the groups together, because in the end, we all want the same thing. We all want to see lower suicides. We all want to see thriving in our veteran community, in our military community, amongst our families. We all want to see growth. We all want to continue to see the buildup, the leadership, the camaraderie, all of those things, even when you get out. And there's no reason why you can't. It does take time, dedication, but it's worth it in the end. And so, we do have a legacy summer scholarship program that we also do with the North Thurston Public School District and a few other school districts throughout Eastern Idaho and Northern Oregon. Right now, we're currently assisting ASYMCA out of Fort Leonard Wood with a scholarship program for little learners. So again, different needs, right? So at the GBLM community, the needs are different. The needs are focused on Gold Star families, active duty veterans, disabled veterans that are struggling, and bringing them all together in a healing manner. Here, mom's working job, dad's active duty, and they have these great educational programs through ASYMCA. So we found a need when we got here, and so we went to that need and asked what we needed. Started our first scholarship with them this year, where we put 3 kids, 2 families through the Little Learners program. So that's your pre-K and your younger. And it's not just a daycare facility, right? That's why Little Learners, it's ran by an educational person with a bachelor's degree in early childhood development, so great program, saw the need. We invested immediately into it and started working with them as soon as we got out here.
That is a incredibly vital thing that needs support in the military community. I was lucky whenever we had our kids, and I'm the military guy. I'm going to work. The wife, luckily, she worked from home, so we were able to have somebody there with the kids all the time. But there's so many, especially the younger generation, that dad is out, or mom, whoever's in the military, is out doing the other, and then the other one's out trying to make a living too. Those kids, and it's tough to get into some of those programs.
It is, and it's costly, right?
Yeah.
And every good program is going to be costly, right?
Yeah.
Heroes Promise runs off of a very minor budget of about $22,000 a year. None of us get paid. It's all volunteer. Our overhead is very minimal. Gas for the boats. I'm blessed to be a part of an incredible organization that is the 1st Battalion, 23rd Infantry Regiment, Tomahawks. And the regiment has an association where Tommies from the Korean War, we just lost our last Korean War vet, but at one time it was Korean War vet all the way to now, continuing to support Tomahawks, their families, the Gold Star families that were left behind. And that has been a huge thing for me, brothers supporting brothers. Especially when it comes, like I said, we've in the Tomahawk arena, the Tomahawk family, we've been hit immensely by suicides, and it's been, and coming from someone who tried, right, and thank God. I'm sitting here today. The tens of thousands of impacts that we've now had wouldn't have happened, right?
Very true. Yeah.
My calling that I know to be my calling wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have started. It wouldn't be what it is today. And I tell that story to all of them. Don't let an impulsive decision ruin your calling, ruin your purpose.
Right.
and maybe ruin's not the right word, but don't let it end, right? Don't let your story end that way. And that's been a difficult thing for me, struggling with. Fighting the spiritual battle is incredibly difficult. Surrendering, is incredibly difficult. I'm an infantryman, so, I'm very gung-ho, charge, take the hill type guy, and very prideful. And I got this, call you what I need you type thing. And that's, and that's been difficult to shed that and surrender and to just advance, to just move in the opportunities that God puts in front of me each and every day, and in front of our organization each and every day. We've had some great donors. CVMA 11-4 out of Washington. They're one of our biggest supporters of our scholarship programs, where we send kids to summer camps and science academies in the summertime. And, we have a vetting tier. We will do whatever we have to do to make sure no kid. So how that started again was a need, right? So the need was, this Gold Star family had 2 children, and she could afford to send one to summer camp, but not the other. And that broke us. That was like, man, what do we got to do to come up with the $800 to make this happen, right? And so the board got together. We all passed the hat around, and it was game on. And there started our legacy summer camp scholarships and science academy scholarships. Wow. And both those kids were able to go together. They went on to do the summer camp, 2 years, 2 years of summer camps, 1 year of science academy. We've taken them out on adventures outdoor, our outdoor warrior adventure outdoor program. And now they're adults, right? And they're doing their own thing. One joined the service, one didn't, but still keeping in contact with them and seeing the growth, not just in our youth, but in our seniors, and in that connectivity. I had this one vet that got to go out on a canoe trip, and he was on a canoe trip. He was an active duty E6, and he got to go out on a canoe trip with a Vietnam veteran who was also a Gold Star father, and a 13-year-old Gold Star youth. And you're going through the Puget Sound, right? So it's an ass kicker, right? Like you're getting pushed to some limits, and you're working through some things with that group as you're going, right? Yeah. And so you had that active duty guy that was the motivator, and you had that Vietnam veteran that was doing the talking, bringing the stories, bringing all 3 of them together, and ultimately they were doing it for healing for their own soul and their own heart, but for that youth that they had in there. And I still hear from them today. I mean, that was back in 2017. And I still hear from them today of how that impact has continued to be a motivator throughout his career. And then relationships that are built, right? We've all lost. Some people don't have families afterwards, right? Some people split, some have to go different ways, all the things that happen, right? And so building those relationships and creating that support, it heals and it saves lives. And that's probably been one of the most rewarding gifts and blessings with a Hero's Promise, is being able to be a part of that. Right. And healing yourself without a doubt, right? But to watch the healing happen in others, and to be a part of that, and those relationships to continue to grow and prosper, and that support group beginning, it's man.
There's something that I want to bring to your attention. I don't know if you're recognizing it or not, but you were just saying how awesome it is to see all, everybody else and their transformations and all this type of stuff. And it 100% true. I'm not negating that at all, but you also have to think, we as military and veterans, we don't want to ask for help, and it is hard for that. So you too, don't shy away from, I got healing out of it too, or because you did, man. And you're an example to those that are like, oh, well, no, I don't need to reach out for help or whatever. You're a perfect example of somebody that did, and it worked out, and it's good for you. So that's a fantastic thing, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And purpose, the Lord giving that purpose, we have purpose in the military. The mission comes first, and that's purpose. Getting out, you get lost. You get lost in the sauce, you get lost in the atmosphere, you just get lost. Trying to steer your way through whatever issues you're having, right? Whether it's, personal at home, financial, mental, physical, spiritual, you name it. It is difficult to ask for help. That was one of the things that I struggled with. I struggled with for a long time, and I'm not gonna lie, I still struggle with it. Right? It's a day-to-day fight. And just like in the military, you have a mission, and you give your best, you do your all every day to complete that mission. And I've been blessed financially, with retirement, to take care of my children, take care of my home, and to be able to serve active duty veterans, Gold Star families, and then the community as a whole, and bringing them all together in uniform to unity within the community. And it's healing. It's extremely rewarding, and it is helpful to remember that, because we do bog down. We do get stuck in those ruts. We recently had a Tomahawk brother on I believe it was the 25th of October, ended up going off all of his meds and ended up committing suicide just a few months ago. And that triggered me, man. It triggered me and put me into that hole. You end up, you wake up and now you're in a hole, and you start digging, climbing, trying to figure a way out. And that's why these organizations are so important. Because of the relationships I've built, people immediately started to see what's going on. Hey, calling me, checking up on me, showing up, and sometimes we're either too lost or too far down to ask for help. And that's another mission for us. That's where the veteran peer-to-peer counseling and support program comes in, is to be in these relationships to where you see that and you're like, hey, what's going on, man? You don't got to be, you don't got to tell me if that's it, but let me be here with you. And at the end of the day, it always works out, right? They either open up, or it motivates them to start anew, reprioritizing, readjusting, right? Being able to get back into execution mode, focusing on the mission. It's incredibly healing, not just for me, but for the many that have been a part of it. Again, some that are no longer with us, some that are. And it's been an incredible opportunity to meet people, to see different, when you go through major traumas, it's real easy to fall into the poor me stage, right?
Right.
Feel sorry for me. I'm a Tomahawk
difficult stage to get out of.
Right. Well, especially without support, without opportunities, without purpose. Absolutely. There's always somebody that's got it worse, right? In the infantry, there's always somebody that's stuck on that crappy detail, or whatever, right? And I have quite a few brothers that are missing both legs, missing limbs.
Right.
And so when and not that they don't need motivation too, not that they don't have their own purpose, but they need that support and they need that motivation as well. And so, again, with the Tomahawks, we do a pretty good job of checking in on each other quite a bit. Heroes Promise has been huge in that regard for many, including myself, including retired Major Alan Acosta, retired Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Sawyer. I can go on and on with some great group of people that during COVID, we were part of the Farm to Family food distribution program.
Oh,
and
nice.
I think,
okay.
It's on our website. I can't think right off the top of my head, but I think it was a little over, here it is, 650,000 pounds of food we gave out through 2020 and 2021 COVID. Yeah. And it was the coolest thing. It's called the Battle Buddies program. And it was just a bunch of active duty guys and vets that, went sometimes 6 hours to get the distribution. We had a buddy, Dirty Deeds LLC, Corey Edkin, retired MP. He ended up starting a construction business. He used his 18-wheeler to haul the food for us. We distributed it, through the state into Idaho, Northern Oregon. And it was a bunch of broken military vets and young stud active duty guys that, we were delivering food because of relationships, because of what we had built within the community. We were going to those seniors' houses and taking care of them, checking in on them, making sure that they didn't have to come into town to get that food. Plus, they were our most vulnerable during that time, right? So they, we wanted to covet them, but we still needed to take care of them, right? So in the safest way possible, still made sure they were getting food, still checking in on them. And it was a really cool experience. And a great time for a Hero's Promise. And then, again, the impacts that we were able to make, the relationships that we built was amazing. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. I really like how you guys utilize for example, the food distribution. You use that as a tool to a certain extent to be able to get in to see that veteran or get in and see that military member. And I don't know. I think that's a great thing, man.
Well, people still had to be taken care of, right? People still had needs. People still needed support.
Right.
And, even though we were told no, it was like, we will follow all of your guidance, all of your guidelines, but we'll still accomplish the mission. Because at the end of the day, that's what veterans will always do. We'll always place that mission first, even when we get out. It's, again, not for everybody, right? I've been blessed to be able to be in the position to do this. The men and women, one of ours is the current president that sits on our board, is a major. She's a doctor at Madigan Army Medical Center at JBLM. So all of the men and women that have been able to come together and work together on a different mission, community-based, relationship-based. And then again, those impacts, I can go through the countless letters. You can scroll through our Facebook and see we're very transparent with everything that we do. You can see the lives that we've touched, the people that didn't have anybody, and we were able to show up and be there for them, support them, guide them, give them food. So we have those many avenues where we're always going to find a way to accomplish the mission.
It's fantastic, man. It's great that your organization specifically, incredible. But you look at, and you had mentioned this earlier, there's so many different organizations that are out there. And I love the fact that you are saying, hey, we're working with these other organizations. We're reaching out and we're talking and utilizing them and helping. And, that's the way to do it. I think if everybody out there and all the veteran organizations that are there, we need to pull together and work together across the country. I think if we did that, that's going to cover so much more.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, Clay. That's what Clay's doing, is giving everybody a purpose.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, that when you leave, what's my purpose?
Yeah. And so that's why, I could have just called it, the Williams Foundation or the Williams Link Foundation, right? Because originally it started with just just being present, showing up at funerals, showing up at senior centers, showing up on base. We were just throwing money at it out of, the board's pockets. A group of vets, is how it started. Some old, most Iraq, Afghanistan, and, just looking for that purpose. And it has grown into, I can't take any credit on it, because the Lord has made it to where, we wake up, a mission's given, there's a need, and we show up, and things happen. And it's the coolest thing to see how it just all works together. And again, the impacts that you make, the relationships that you build, the lives that you touch, and the community that you build. I don't think anybody would disagree with me with saying that we're an extremely divided country, all the way down to our communities.
Very true.
And at the end of the day, I truly believe, for me personally, God has given me the ability to go out and be an intersection for people, to be that connection away from the divide, to be that bridge for people to, again, anybody can be that hero, right? Hero's promise.
Right.
Anybody can be that hero. And, some people it's financial. Some people it is that relationship. It is building those relationships. It's that healing that you get from those relationships. Some people it's the impacts, right? Some people it's just the camaraderie and doing really cool stuff together, and reliving some glory days, but in a different way, within our own communities. It's been amazing, and it's continuing to grow, and all the glory goes to God, to our, to my Savior Jesus Christ. He put this in my path, and I just walk it. I'm just His tool, and I get to be a part of something so much bigger than myself, which was, one of the things that brought me into the military, right, was being a part of something much bigger than myself.
Right.
And to be able to still be a part of that. And, again, a lot of our funding is internal funding. We now have some great donors that help out: Northwest Harley Davidson, For the Fallen, CVMA, Combat Vets Motorcycle Association, and a few others, the American Legion, VFW, DAV, where we support them in their programs. They support us in our programs. They volunteer in our programs. We volunteer in their programs. Because at the end of the day, it still comes back to that purpose, to that mission, and ultimately to heal not just ourselves, but our community, to continue to strive forward to be, the greatest nation this world has ever seen. And it really does. It starts within our community, because that's where we all come from. We come from big cities, small towns, small communities, and we all come together in this misfit mob, and we do amazing things together. And there's no reason why we still can't do that when we get out. Life changes things and makes things harder, but the opportunity and the possibility is still there. Just finding where you fit. What cog in that wheel are you, right? Where is your purpose, and where is your design to fit in? Where's your calling? And so, yeah.
I love it, man. This is great stuff. Now, what is the website? Like, if somebody wants to go check you guys out, where you what's the website?
It's aheroespromise.org, all lowercase.
Okay. And
then we have Facebook, TikTok. Matter of fact, that's how we met, was on TikTok. We just started that this year, so glad we did. Well, I'm fairly new to the TikTok as well, but I'm having a blast with it. I just need to be more. I need to get on it more often. Since December hit, I have not been on it as much as I probably need to be. I need to be reminding myself of all the little tidbits of information, right? And I haven't been doing that lately, so I got to get back into it. It's difficult, it's, I got sticky notes all over, I got TBI pretty bad. So that doesn't help the situation. So writing everything down, having those sticky notes all over. It's been more difficult not having that face-to-face interaction on the West Coast. Out here, doing everything digitally is a different experience. But, how amazing that we can still impact lives, 3,000 miles away from each other. It's a really cool thing. It's really beautiful if it's, if it's used. And that's the hard part, right? Is to continue, because there is so many. I got to post here. I got to do this. I got to, and that's where, again, those volunteers that do help, that do spend, 2-3 hours every day doing research. So again, how it all started for me was remembering the fallen and serving the living by remembering the fallen, honoring them while serving their families. And that's how it originally started for me. And it started with Gold Star families in my from the Tomahawk Battalion, and then just grew into this, it morphed into this creation that it is today, where again, we've been able to see little ones all the way up to, at the end of life. And it's incredibly rewarding. After everything that the trauma that I have gone through, that stuff never goes away, right? Those traumas never go away. Those triggers are always trying to get at you. It's a day-to-day fight.
Yeah.
So having purpose, having that drive, and being dedicated to the mission has not only healed me, helped me, made me a better, better person, a better father, a better friend, a better follower of Jesus Christ. And so one of the other programs I will say that goes along with our summer camps and scholarships and our outdoor activities is called Parental Link. And so this is a program that I needed personally. So when me and my ex-wife, my older two kids, when we divorced, I was lost, right? I ended up moving into a tent, living in a tent for about 9 months, trying to find my purpose. And, out of that came a hero's promise. And then I was able, because of a hero's promise, I was elected in 2019 to the Cemetery Commission in Thurston County in Washington, where I got to help facilitate and take care of funerals, cemeteries, grave sites, where a lot of growth really happened was meeting these families, building those relationships, being there for them afterwards, right? You see a lot of the time where, people show up at that, they'll show up at that funeral, they'll show up at that memorial, and then it's gone, right? And that's where that relationship is key, because they need you. And that becomes your mission. And they're going without this year. First year is, one of the hardest. And so having that support and being there and growing that relationship, it's a blessing. Yeah.
Man, I love it, man. Like I said, I love what you guys are doing. It's admirable, honorable. I appreciate what you guys are doing for sure. So, man, gives me chills. I don't know about Mike, but it gives me chills. So keep doing what you're doing, man. I love it.
Absolutely. Mission. We stay focused on the mission. And, at the end of the day, our mission is, serving others and building our community, growing relationships, making impactful, effective change. However that may be. I never thought I would be, shoveling water out of houses and, eventually air drying it and, rebuilding and then, providing new support in that home with furniture and other things, just all the things that we've been able to be a part of. I couldn't have dreamed it up. Right. And so that's, again, where all the glory goes to the Lord for just using the tools. And he puts it all down, and we're just the tools that construct it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mike, did you have any questions or comments or anything on your end?
No, I was just enjoyed listening. I mean, honestly, yeah. I apologize. I was kind of seeing if I seemed like I was distracted. I kept looking here and there.
Oh, you were making sure the tree doesn't fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
No, you're good,
apologize,
Mike.
but no, you had a lot of good things. But like you were saying, the fact that you can get veterans involved and give them a purpose is the first step, I think, in all of it. And Andrew, you said it. You know, if we could get all these organizations on the same damn page,
Yeah.
where
That's
they could
true
all
effective
work together, if they could all work together, and
You know what? There needs to be, and there may be this already. And if you know of it, please let me know. But all the different nonprofits, the veteran organizations that are out there, is there needs to be like a one database. I guess I would say a phone book type of thing, but whatever you call it. But a place where somebody could go, and it's just they're all listed there, and then it say what area you're in and all this stuff. So if any veteran came in, it's a spreadsheet or somewhere that anybody could go to and find it and be able to say, hey man, contact this group. That group should be able to help you.
And it's all regional. I mean, everywhere in the country. I mean, how many of you interviewed, Andrew? I mean, they're all over the country.
Oh yeah.
But they're all doing the same thing, but they're all offering different services on how they do it. And, from equine therapy to hunting, to fishing, to, it's amazing. But I mean, like your organization, what is it through the military? What is it where you could donate annually? Always. What the heck was it called?
I don't remember. I know what you're talking about. Your monthly donation.
Something. Oh man, I can't remember.
It called?
Yeah,
I was literally sitting here most of this podcast, sitting there thinking, I'm like, what the heck was the name of that? It wasn't Goodwill or anything like that. It was. I can't remember.
Somebody out there knows that. Please let us know.
Yeah. Somebody will message it. But I mean, like that, is that something that you guys are a part of, or you're not able to because you're a nonprofit, or?
So for us, what we noticed, because most of our board is a part of lifetime members of these other organizations, right? And what we noticed is money and finances it can help the mission, right? But it tends to be a hindrance more than anything, right? It creates animosity. It creates all of the things that we try to stay away from. So for us, I had a command sergeant major. He was my platoon sergeant at one time, but he was a command sergeant major, went back to command the Tomahawk Regiment. And he was looking at getting me in on it. And for us, what we had decided as a board is, because we're relationship-based and community-based, we want to focus in those areas. So that's where in like 2019, we started going to other organizations. For example, CVMA does a poker run every year, and they do it specifically for our program, the summer camp scholarships and the science academies. And, we get about $6,000 every year from them specifically for those programs. And so we've been able to work with other organizations for the fallen, and then local businesses, Harley Davidson in Olympia, huge supporters of ours. They give around $8,000 every year into our programs. But most of everything we get are, $50 here, $100 here, and it's from families and relationships that we've either been able to impact or that we work with. And so, for us, money has never been the issue. We find a way, right? So, for example, during COVID, it was like, let's, what was the word they were using? Not needed or whatever.
I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
When they were trying to do the lockdown and essential.
Essential personnel or something like that?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking
and
about?
So, we made ourselves essential. We put in the paperwork, did what we needed to do, became a distribution for the farmer to family food program. And we made it happen. And I think that's what's so amazing about veterans and the military community is because of not just our training, but because of what we learned together and how we group together and how we work as a unit. Using that on the outside and being leaders in our community, however that is, again, being a hero in someone's life, and making that promise to them. So financially, the Lord's always provided for us. I mean, again, when people do look at everything we do, they go, "You're doing this off of a $22,000 budget. How is that even possible?" We don't know. We just keep moving forward, and opportunities get placed in front of us, and we're able to, we see a need and we're able to help and network and, just accomplish the mission.
Right. Well, you said it earlier, right? You're putting it all in God's hands, and He's the one guiding it, putting the desire in your heart, and He's taking care of you. So that's the way I should be doing business. I should do that more often than what I already do. But
that's one thing I would say, listening to you the whole time, is how you are extremely honest about your faith, and that's an amazing thing. So
I'm here only by the grace of God. I really am. Dying on the operating table was crazy. Making it through the traumas of war from the disabilities from combat, from the traumas of war, from the physical trauma. I wish I could say I'm that strong of a man, right? But the reality is I'm not, and one of the hardest things to do was shedding that coat and just surrendering it all to the Lord. That was difficult. And there's days that it's easier and days that it's harder, but I truly wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't be able to do what I do and the impacts we've made if it wasn't for the Lord. And I think almost every board member, if not every board member on our board, would say the same thing. We've all had our unique situations that ended us here together. And, again, just like in the military, where, the bands of misfits just come together and they unite and they do amazing things.
Right.
And they take care of each other and they accomplish the mission. And, my dad was a tunnel rat in Vietnam, and there was only about 7 of them that made it out of that. But him and his best friend that did make it out, they're still friends to this day. They still talk once a week.
Wow.
And honestly, I don't know if my mother or my father would have made it through without that type of support. So, again, it comes, and my parents are board members, of course, as well. The guy back here that's no longer with us, Mr. Jason Link, me and him founded it with my mom, and my mom put the initial, $10,000 down to just get us rolling our first year. And it all has just continued to grow into this amazing organization that's ever evolving, right? Because life changes on us so much. You have to be adaptable, and you have to stay focused on the needs of your community. It's easy to focus on national. It's easy to focus on the global. It's easy to focus on all those things. But then we miss what's right in front of us. Like I said, we have so many success stories, from drugs and alcohol, homelessness, to being leaders in their community, city council members, business owners. So no matter how hard you fall down that hole, no matter how deep you get in your mind, in your spiritual battle, your physical battle, you name it, you can come out of it. For me, it was my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and for others, it's whatever. And at the end of the day, we are focused on spiritual life. We again. We use the medicine walk. We use native culture to help healing with, I'd probably say around 500-600 vets have used that program to heal. And then they end up getting into other things that they find, getting into, scouting and helping the youth, survivability, life skills, personal skills, and leadership skills. And it's a beautiful thing to watch, to be a part of that also, right? Like, we don't have to, and that's what I really stress to a lot of these organizations that I'm a part of, is there should be no competing, right? Because we all have the same mission, and you handle the mission in a certain area in a certain way, and it's needed. I do it differently, you do it, but if we all start working together and we all start coming together in that unity aspect, where we're, and I'm not going to say enable, right? Because that's what I've really seen happen in the veteran community, where people need a hand up. They don't need handouts. They don't need to be enabled. They don't need to be stuck. Sometimes the truth hurts. For me, it was, pain sucks. You're being fat and lazy, dude. Get the hell up and accomplish the mission. That's hard though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, just the initial get up and go of everything. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's weight loss, whether it's just depression and sitting in your home, getting up and moving and going somewhere and doing something. That's the part that is the hardest. Is that initial step. Never gets easier. The initial step, at least.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm gonna tell a story about a brother of mine. He's my best friend. He's my business partner. We have a collectible store that we run together. That's another major supporter of A Hero's Promise. 25% of everything that we make off of our store goes into our programs.
Very cool.
And because we can be prideful in the military, right? We have the uniform, we have the looks, we have all the things. It's easy to get prideful.
Right.
And so, working, and then taking that and using it for those great deeds and those good things, is huge. But one of our board members, when I first met him, I had been getting calls from neighbors and people I knew that knew him, and they're like, "Hey, man, we ain't seen this dude leave his house in 4 years." And it turned out to be almost 8 years that he hadn't left his house.
Wow.
And so during COVID, I went and knocked on his door, and it took about 3 weeks. He was very untrusting at first and everything, and so I had to build that relationship with him. And then next thing you know, he's delivering food to Idaho, and
Wow.
learned how to forklift, and or he already knew how to forklift, but using the forklift to take the food boxes out of the truck and onto the truck, and doing all the things. And now he's a board member of our board, and continues to do amazing things. And so it really comes back to those relationships, right? And being a hero in someone's life.
Right.
No judgment, just a hand up. Again, trust but verify, right? So
Yeah.
we're not in the game to enable. We're not in the game to, if that's the route you want to go, that's the route you want to go. That's your choice. If you want a different route, if you want a better route, in my opinion, if you want to grow, we got to make some changes. Change is hard. And that's where that relationship, has to be instilled, because without that, without that relationship, there isn't support. And without support, it's hard to move forward. It's hard to get up. It's hard to just take that initial step. So I could go on all night on the different stories and amazing things that we've been able to be a part of. But, in the end, it doesn't matter if it's A Hero's Promise, if it's the VFW, if it's Wounded Warrior, whatever it is, find your spot in that wheel, right? Find which cog you are, and grow that and build that relationship and lead. we are trained to be leaders, both on the battlefield and in the rear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's training, whether it's in the community, you name it, that is one of the number one things that the military teaches you. And what I always tell everybody is use that leadership effectively in your community, whether that's at your church, whether it's at your school, whatever it is. Start growing those relationships, use that leadership. And, veterans have always stood in the community. They've always been the first to jump. They've always been the first to lead. And I think now more than ever, it's extremely important for veterans to be a part of their community, growing their community. Today, we had our last board meeting for the senior center out here. I sit on the board, and they do frozen meals to doorsteps of people that are homebound, that aren't able to go. Even if it's just being a part of something like that seems so small to you, there's 84 people where I'm at that rely on that. And you're a hero in their life by doing it. So I would definitely like to emphasize finding your purpose, finding where you can be effective, where you can lead, and closing that divide and rebuilding those relationships.
Absolutely. Yeah. That purpose is a big one, even if it's just get out, take a baby step, get out of your house, walk down the street. And if you see somebody, just say hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Ask them how they're doing, or just say something nice to them, like, hey, I like your shirt. It looks really good. Something simple like that. You never know. You could be somebody's hero in that. If somebody's having a bad day, you talk to them, man, right there,
Absolutely. And you never know, right? And sometimes you'll never know. And that's something that you just have to also be, I got bogged down there for a while with that of, our minds like to, go down rabbit holes. The devil likes to throw bad thoughts in there that try to, move you away from mission. Yeah. And you just have to stay focused on, when you have those interactions, be your best, do your best, and, be that leader and be effective in it, because you don't know who's crying on the inside. You don't know that what you said to that person today keeps them alive till tomorrow. And I've witnessed it. And again, you'll never know all the impacts that you make. And I don't think we're supposed to, right?
Right.
Because it's not about that. It's about continuing to do your best every day, to find that purpose, to move forward, to make effective change, to build those relationships. For me personally, it's talk is cheap, right? So actions are what I'm about. I'm an infantryman, right? So again, I'm going to take that hill. So look at my actions, right? We all say bad things. We all mess up and let our thoughts, come out. We all make mistakes. One of the things I will say that the VA has been exceptional for me in my healing journey is mindfulness, right? Being mindful, because just because you're having a bad day, so I got real bad RBF, right? So if I'm having a bad day, it's show and tell on my face. And so being mindful of that and just being who the Lord made me to be, which is bubbly and outgoing and being there. I realized years ago that even just having that, the impacts that I was able to make just from changing my demeanor, just from getting out of that angry pity party and just putting a smile on and being thankful to have the breath, and then also the blessings that come with that. And some days it's hard, right? In 2007, we had I was attached to second platoon, and we had a chlorine dump truck bomb go off in the meat market, and it gave me tumors and asthma and severe lung issues, right?
Yeah.
We can sit down and we can let that stuff bog us down every day. We can get into those pity parties. We can get into that hole, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, you name it.
Right.
So the biggest thing is reaching out, building relationships, and finding those support groups, finding that purpose that that brings you to the calling and brings you. We all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses. We all have our areas where we are a hero.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I like it, man. We gotta get together more often, have you on, chat more often. This is good. But hey, thanks for coming on and doing this. I've enjoyed myself. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself. And
Absolutely.
We're going to have you back on it again. One, I want to hear your story in a little more detail if you didn't mind sharing it. And then we can have you back on one of the fireside chats with the crew, and you can just kind of join the conversation and have a good time with us. But man, I enjoyed talking to you, and thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. And I'd love to, continue. I mean, again, being able to use the platforms and the tools that are available to us to continue to make those impacts like tonight. So I appreciate you guys. And thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, we always try to end up the podcast with words of wisdom, is what we call it here. And I'll have Mike go first, so you can kind of get an idea of what it is, and then I'll let you go. But this is a fun thing that we do. It's up to you, whatever you want to give what words of wisdom. But we'll jump into that real quick. All right, Mike, words of wisdom. What do you got for us, man?
I got a simple one here. Be the change that you wish to see in the world.
Ooh.
Amen.
That was good. That was really good, actually. Yeah, I like it. All right. Well, Clay, what do you got for us, man?
So for me, it's going to be, don't lean on your own understanding, give it to the Lord. Again, surrendering's hard, especially for combat vets, in any veteran. That's one thing we're not wired to do. We're not wired to surrender. And so don't lean on your own understanding, give it to the Lord, and he will bless you in ways that you can't imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very well said, man. Well, Clay, thank you for what you're doing. For everybody out there, aheroespromise.org. Go check them out. If there's ways you can help them, please do so. Whether it's volunteer, whether it's financial or whatever, throwing them a prayer even, whatever it is that you can help with, please do so. But man, Clay, thanks for coming on. I had a great time, and God bless you for what you're doing, man. It's admirable. I love it. So keep doing what you're doing, though.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'm going to close this out here. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on that chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. I know these two here care about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to buddies you serve with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, fellas, one last time, thank you very much. Much appreciated. To all the listeners out there, stay motivated. Change your socks.
No more 22. Honor the journey and finish the fight.